have consistently throughout the tournament banned the golem themselves.
Maybe they didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, I mean, Camel have brought throughout the entire tournament. We've been saying throughout the week they bring very, very E-War heavy. Not only dance with the jams as well. We saw them with Kitsune, with the Griffin. They brought Celestis on top of the double Mauler space that they bring. They're a very, very control-based team. They're like going, we are now confining you to a box which we can move around and we can, make decisions instead of you, and we control the match in that way.
And sorry, can you repeat the Camel bans?
Tengu and Loki.
Okay, so again, that's something we've seen them do a lot. That doesn't tell you much, except that it's possible they could just continue trying to go with their same setups. Tuskers bans are a bit odd. They seem like the kind of bans you'd want to make if you're trying to beat Camel at its own game. And that's really, really impressively kind of in your face if Tuskers try it. If they try to take a damp control team and just try to outfly Camel.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are ones that care very much about the support war. We've been saying all throughout the Alliance tournament, if you can win the support war, odds are you're going to win the match. Both teams have brought triple Heretic to every single match, apart from when Tuskers had their Heretic banned, or actually no, it was Camel got the Heretic banned, and they went to Flycatchers, where it's exactly the same thing, but shield.
That's,
they're very similar ships, and you get a lot of the same benefits out of them, including actually more damps if you want to stuff those on with the mid slots. But yeah, this is I'm really, really curious to see what Tuskers is going to bring. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Camel try to hide any of their kind of completely new setups, but that could be the kind of thing that could really bite them, because we saw that Hydra tried to keep consistency and keep their good setups hidden against Nully, and it came back to bite them for sure.
I'm really looking forward to see some new setups from Tuskers. 3 times thus far, they've brought their Armageddon plus kind of EOS armor setup. That's won them a lot of matches. They haven't actually lost a ship in any of the matches where they've brought those. And then in one match, I can't remember who it was against, but they brought a shield setup, more kind of Gila-based, more standard that we've seen. So I'm quite excited to see what their theory craft is.
Now we can go straight there and just check it out. I'm going with Camel Empire. Real quick, guys.
I'm going to also go with Camel Empire. Yeah.
I believe in my friends in Tuskers.
Batik, what do you think?
I like camels.
You like camels? Guys, red alert! Let's go to space.
In Eve, the only thing worth more than ISK is trust. This October 4th in Amsterdam, Eve is real.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bacchanalian here with Elise Randolph, and we are in the winners bracket, the remaining 4 teams that are undefeated. We will be seeing here very shortly. Right now we have for you the Tuskers and Camel Empire. And I'll let Elise give you the setups here. We have some interesting setups.
Yeah, Fozzie got it right with the Tuskers. They are taking a damp sort of finesse team, though he probably did not predict the Armor Orthrus making an appearance, which it certainly is. Meanwhile, Camel Empire is doing sort of a drone shotgun sort of thing, but the armor variant with a Paladin, EOS, and Navy Vexor and Vexor support with 2 Inquisitors for reps.
Yeah, this is a really interesting well, really interesting on both sides. We have quite a heavy E-War set up from Tuskers. We'll see if they apply it. Right now, the match is underway. No real E-War showing. In fact, a tiny control bar from Camel Empire. We're starting to see the damps come across EOS, all 3 Vexor Navy issues, and both Inquisitors. And to me, that's going to be the big deal. I mean, drone boats are hard to damp out, but can you shut down those Inquisitors enough to just blap through things?
Camel Empire is setting in not bouncers or anything, but just random drones, just normal everyday drones are going straight for Sainsbury's Onirios.
Want a web on them already.
Yeah, this is not good for them.
Well, so here's the issue with these 3 Orthros. They have a lot of front-loaded damage and can do a lot of DPS all at once. Are they going to be able to get through some damage ships before they lose this Oneros? And it doesn't look like they are. This Oneros is absolutely going down, like the hot knife cutting through butter here. He is going to structure, and he will be down momentarily. Tuskers, significant disadvantage right off the bat. And the question is, are they going to be able to trade anything for it?
The damps, they do nothing. Like, This Paladin makes, even though all of the Camel Empire are completely damped down, the Paladin's in Bastion mode, it cannot be damped, and so they're just assigning their drones to the Paladin, and the Paladin is just shooting anything he wants. Right now, it's an Armor Orthrus, and I have a feeling this is not going to be too good for this.
One of the Armor Orthruses did get webbed, it got away, but yeah, these Orthruses is something we discovered yesterday. I've never flown one before last night. They are fairly flimsy ships. They are speedy ships, they are very flimsy ships, and we were watching one absolutely get taken apart here. Latronicus, despite going 2,700 meters a second, 28 now, is just getting blasted to pieces.
These Navy Vexers have the speed boosted drones, so they are just keeping up with him just fine. The swarm of drones is still on him, and of course the Paladin is hitting with Scorch.
Yeah, 3,300 doesn't matter. I mean, he's just not outrunning tracking on anything. He's not outrunning drones. Meanwhile, the Vexor Veshnala into a little bit of armor, but Tuskers losing an Orthrus and still haven't managed to trade anything at all.
Yeah, this is great Inquisitor piloting from the Camel Empire. They are right next to, even though they're damped, they're just sitting right on their primary Vexor and keeping them all wrapped up.
You said something I said earlier. If they can maybe take down those Inquisitors early, they can start getting through DPS, but they didn't even try that. I mean, they had target painting on the team. I saw target painter effect go across. They have the Orthruses presumably light missile fit, but they didn't really apply that. They tried to go through the DPS ships early, traded Noneros right off the bat, now trading an Orthrus and trading yet another Orthrus now. So meanwhile, the Vexor Veshnala half armor, not getting reps at the moment, so they might actually break something, but Tuskers here 38 points behind and lost two of their four DPS ships here.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy stuff. Man, another Orthrus is going down. These drones, they're just so fast. These Navy Vexers get a speed bonus to their drones. Everyone's going with sentries today except for Camel Empire. They say, you know what, we're just going with what works.
And what do they have on the field?
Speedy drones.
What are their exact drones? Are they running?
Infiltrators and some geckos.
Yeah, well,
and Valkyries.
Really
a little
nasty.
bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Just a grab bag of drones, and it's working here. Vexor Veshnala is still holding on half armor. The Orthrus of Razukal Sertico, I'm going to get that right. Sertico is now into structure. He will be down shortly. Again, these things are incredibly fast, but it doesn't seem to matter. They just got absolutely countered with that Vexor Navy speedy drone deal. Veshnala now finally getting some reps. Damps are still spread really effectively. We'll give that to the Tuskers.
Yeah, but sadly the Damps are doing nothing. Oh. Let's see. These drones, okay, these hobgoblins, these healers must have, or these Navy Vexers must have like some sort of drone nav comps going on in them, because I just saw that drone go 7K, and that is absurdly fast.
Wow. That is incredibly fast.
And the light drones are going 9K. So yeah, I have a feeling that these Navy Vexers are filling their mids with drone nav comps, and there is no escaping their hate.
You know, that almost makes me wonder, does Camel expect something from the Tuskers? Did they kind of have this set up in mind? Because those Orthruses looked like they were going 3,400 overheated, despite an armor tank. They seemed like they were, perhaps they were shield tank, but they seemed like they were trying to outrun the damage, and they just were, it was impossible. The drones are twice as fast as them, they were never going to get ahead. That EOS now, Suleiman Shua, into structure, and he does explode. Not a single ship yet on the Camel Empire dead, indicating to me
Inquisitors are so money.
They are just miles ahead of everyone else in the tournament for not losing ships.
Yep, but you made a great point. These Tuskers, they had these fast cruisers, non-traditional setups in the Orthrus. Against a Gila team, I think they would have outrun the drones, but not against a Navy Vexor team. Those drones are really, really ridiculously fast. As we see, Celestis dying now, and there is no hope for Tuskers in Game 1. Remember, this is a best of 3, so the series is not quite over, and even if they do end up losing, they'll just fall to the losers bracket, and we'll see them tomorrow, I think?
Yep, looks like an MJD Vexor Navy there just for kicks. We'll see if he MJD's out, but nope, he does not. Camel Empire, too good for that.
Blinkerino.
Yeah, at this point, you feel like Tuskers probably suit themselves better just to run out of the arena here. Because, no, honestly, they have another match coming right up in about 40 minutes. You know, that's not a lot of time to turn around and say, okay, now what do? We have to come up with a new comp, or maybe we have a new comp, but is it going to work? You know, what do we need to do? We need to regroup. We need to get everybody refreshed, go get drinks, go to bio breaks, and so forth. And so instead of flying around the arena, you just fly out, end it.
I mean, maybe they're trying to get out of the arena, but these drones are just so fast, they're just catching up to them anyway.
Yeah, we don't have 75. No, Heretic's just chilling. Kitsun's going to go down. He's almost out of the arena, but he's going to go down. But, you know, that is a legitimate thing. These guys have to turn around and fight another match right away.
Yeah, this sort of mental fatigue that comes when you play lots of matches might catch up to them, but...
There goes one. You know, I mean, it's the thing. Not only do they have to have another match in 40 minutes and potentially another one 40 minutes after that if they go to 3, but if they lose, then they play another one like an hour after that. And depending, I mean, maybe less time, hopefully less time, because things are getting on quicker here. But there's another heretic, one heretic left for the Tuskers, and they need to regroup. They need to bounce back. They need to just kind of put this one behind them and hope they can win 2 in a row.
This Valkyrie just
10K.
is 10K.
Oh my God.
11K. This is insane. These drones can just get across the field so fast, and this heretic is down before he can make it to the arena. That's amazing. Good job, Camel Empire, taking it with a clean victory for Game 1 of the Best of 3 series. Send it back to the studio.
I didn't know drones could go that fast. I did not ask.
That best of 3 series is off with a bang.
Yes, and not the bang that Tuskers was hoping for, I think. Yeah, this is a really strong start for Camel. Tuskers is, like these guys have said, they're going to have to brush themselves off and come back. This is a best of 3 series, so they're going to have at least one more match in that, and even if they lose that, they're still in. But that was definitely a draw. And they tried to go the damp control route, and I have to wonder if they kind of accurately predicted what Camel was going to bring, because they banned basically for a shotgun. And then they faced something somewhat similar. Instead of using the sentry drones, they had the shotgun in its name, they used mobile drones, but they still did the assigning to a Marauder.
Yeah, I mean, I think that nobody kind of has really played around with putting drone navs on a Vexor Navy before. Because Vexor Navy already has a great bonus to drone velocity. Put a drone navigator on there, you know, it's got 4 mids even. Those things, what was it, 10K Valkyries or something
11K
like that?
or something like that? Yeah, very fast.
Yeah, it was interesting to see you guys trumped even going that fast. And a question was thrown out: Who did this? Who made this? But it's a very good beginning at this best of 3 series, and we have another one coming, which is Pandemic Legion versus Nulli Secunda.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
This is Nulli trying to put another head on their mantelpiece.
Yeah.
See if they can complete the set.
Yes.
I mean, like, Hydra and PL are historically, well, for the past, 6 tournaments, I'd say, been the 2 big teams. Like, Nulli have already killed one of them.
Or at least wounded one of them.
Wounded one
yes.
of them. They've knocked one out. Can they get PL as well? If they do, even if they just lose, their next matches completely roll out of the tournament, they will still be the biggest storyline.
Yes, yeah. I mean, this has got to be something where they are off such a huge high from that gigantic victory last week. At this point, everyone, like, they've shot up so high in everyone's estimation. They have a lot to live up to, and I think PL's probably been studying them very carefully over this last week, and is coming to this pretty nervous. I definitely would be coming up against Nulli.
Yeah, so the bans are in for it. And, Pandemic Legion have banned out the Scimitar and the Sleipnir, while Nulli Secunda banned out the Eos and the Geddon.
Okay.
And the Geddon, that is interesting.
That is weird. I mean, that still leaves PL pretty much open for their Rattlesnake plus Bazzy comp that they showed quite early in the tournament. I mean, I think that PL can still do a lot of different setups. I mean, we saw them break out this brand new idea last week, as we said.
And then everyone trying to copy it.
And everyone trying to copy it, some more successfully than others. I think PL is one of those teams where we may see another breakout comp.
I think if they have one in their back pocket, they're going to use it at some point in this series versus Nulli. They might save it, they might not use it in the first match, but they would definitely need to use it at some point because Nulli is a very top tier team.
You cannot mess about.
And keep in mind, Nulli includes the kind of core of the Hun Reloaded team that knocked PL out of the tournament 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So these guys have experience taking PL out. And now they have experience taking Hydra out as well.
I mean, PL have kind of had a really rough road. We're saying they're a really strong team, but they've faced such incredible teams throughout the tournament. They faced Afterlife, then they faced Shadow Cartel, just on and on through like really, really good teams throughout the tournament thus far. Each time, sometimes winning by the skin of their teeth in the first 2 matches, then coming out and being a bit more dominant as we expected. But PL have yet another really, really difficult match, forcing their pilots to be on their best in terms of both piloting and theory crafting.
There's only one way to see what's going to happen in this match, and that's to go through it when it's ready. But it's still a few.
You tease.
Yeah, I am a tease. I like teasing. I am, however, going to say I'm going to mark Pandemic Legion. I do believe they have what it takes to knock Nully down and set up a grudge rematch between Nully and Hydra later on.
That would be pretty fun. Although a grudge match between PL and Hydra in the losers bracket would also be,
Yes, that would also be. So we never know. Like the best out of 3 series bring forth an interesting sort of dynamic into it. Do you underestimate your opponent and bring something that they beat immediately, or do you bring your best stuff out on the first match and try to get one up? I mean,
it's tough. Yeah, I mean the best of matches last year very often went to 3. We had like that classic best of 3 match between PL and Exodus in the losers bracket final, and then of course the best of 5 that went to all the marbles in the final. I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction that this one is going to go to 3 as well. I think that this series between PL and Nully is going to go to 3, and I'm less confident about the actual order of it, but I would say PL wins the first, Nully wins the second, PL wins the third. But that part I'm much more fuzzy about it. I think they're evenly matched enough that we're going to see a full 3 matches.
You're a fuzzy fuzzy.
Yes.
No, I hope it goes to best of 3 as well. I'm a man who likes the spaceships, so more spaceships is better in my book. I think that PL might lose the first and then win 2. Okay. I think I'm going to go with that. I think Nully are going to bring their full force like from the get-go, and PL, they might give PL pulls. We'll have to see.
What do you think, Betik?
I'm gonna bet on Nully.
On Nully? Yeah. You're one for the upsets, are you?
Yeah, like as I say, PL has always been strong, and they're like a establishment within this tournament, or they're just an establishment within EVE, and everything that follows that. And like, we'll see.
Yeah, so. we will indeed. But while we're waiting for the match to get ready, Betik, can we? I'd like to ask you about your affection with tools. You like making tools, don't you?
In general.
In general. Yeah, no, for EVE. Like
for EVE, yeah. So I've been working here now for many years. Probably 9 years, I think, or something like that.
Oh, you're close to the sword then.
Yeah. Like, one day we'll look at that. But yeah, I kind of feel like me and Fossi have been working now together for nearly 2-3 years or something like that. And I feel it's important that we give players tools and problems. And sometimes we have problems in EVE and we don't have the tools to deal with them. And that's where we usually come in and we try to diminish that and add to it. But I'm a big fan of just making a difficulty, giving you a bloody problem. And even if there's no solution for it temporarily, there will be a solution for it later in that sense.
I hate to be that person, but I'm going to put a pin in that discussion, and we are going to go into space, and we're going to stay red for this.
So he's going to live to fly another day.
Because of winning with broadswords and then winning with Dominic's. This was a very interesting match. I'm going to come back and look at this later. Oh no, he's so cool, but not very good.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Day 7. We're in the winner's bracket, best of 3 between PL and Nully Secunda. My hands are shaking. I'm not going to have any fingernails after this. I'm Elise Randolph. I'm joined with Bacchanalian. And let's introduce these two teams.
Well, we're looking at Pandemic Legion and Ellie Secunda, and I'm hoping for some headshots. We have something I've been talking about all tournament long as a possible counter to drones, bombers. I think it's just 6 bombers that Pandemic Legion have brought. They've warped in at 30. I'm sorry, it's 5 bombers at 30 from the Nelly team, which warped in at 0 with a Golem, Loki, Vulture, triple Ishtar comp, Underman comp, 6 ships. I'm sorry. I'm excited about this. Pandemic Legion have brought a Golem, double Rattlesnake, double Vexer, 5 stealth bombers, and a Merlin. And I'm predicting bombs right away.
If this works, it's going to be crazy. Nelly going a very bold strategy, not only taking a Tinker, but taking a Tinker that PL manufactured against PL, and let's see what happens. Bombs ahoy, boys! Bombs ahoy!
Bombs ahoy! And drones out! Why would you launch drones right away?
They are shrapnel bombs too. Oh, things are gonna die. All
the drones are running past the bombs. Drones running past the bombs. How much damage is it going to put that Loki into armor? Loki into armor. Loki's melted.
Loki is gone.
Loki's vanished. The Golem put almost into armor from that. Unreal.
Look at this attack bar. It is insane. It is actually crazy. This Golem is almost down. This Vulture's almost down. Cheeb's Vexer is taking quite a bit of damage. But who cares at this point? Look at that beautiful, beautiful bombing.
Absolutely gorgeous
Ishtar melted. Oh my god. I'm going to lose my mind. This is crazy.
I think somebody's got to get us a towel. That was incredible. That was exactly what I wanted to see from someone in this tournament. PL finally did it. I know Rokapel was working on a very similar setup. I'm glad to get to see it. And unbelievable. They just nuked the Loki, erased it right off the field in the first like 15 seconds, even less.
That was the fastest Tinker Logi death we've ever seen in an Alliance tournament.
So
oh my goodness.
Tinkers have a really, really strong active tank as another Ishtar goes down. Really strong active local tank.
PL are losing bombers at this point, but they still have their Vexers. They still have 2 Rattlesnakes and a Golem against a Vulture and a Golem.
So here's the thing with the Tinkers have such a strong local tank that it's hard to break it with sustained DPS. But they don't have a lot of effective HP because they're focused so much on running an active tank. As we lose, the Vulture just melts.
That attack bar is still enormous. That's probably one of the biggest attack bars, and PL's already lost a lot of their setup.
What those bombs do to something with low actual HP is melt through it. Doesn't matter if you have an active tank if you don't live long enough to ever get it off.
Look at that Golem. That Golem just goes to 25% shields per volley.
That is unbelievable. Pandemic Legion with an absolutely
We're not going to see a Golem tanking
DPS.
for much. He's already in armor. He's going to drop. This is going to be one of the fastest matches ever, and against a Tinker. Not only a Tinker, but a Tinker Marauder setup.
And was this a strategy from PL to break the crest tool so that there's no crest data? Because I think we're within that time frame.
Maybe that's
if
what
it
we're
ends
going
this
for.
quickly, there may not be no crest data for this until it's manually patched
My
in.
goodness.
Here we go. The Golem into structure of Brand Urdola and Nelly Secunda find themselves down 1-0 to PO very quickly.
2 minutes down.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes. Unreal. Back to the studio already. Thank you, PL, for making this shorter.
Whether you're into gate camping or jet can mining, you'll find Eve's best music mix at Eve Radio. Visit www.eve-radio.com today.
Do you like waffles?
I like waffles.
I like waffles.
Do you like waffles?
Yes.
Yes, I like waffles. And pancakes. And French toast.
First match of their series, best out of 3 series, and they literally blow us away.
That was pretty spectacular. That was so much damage.
You've been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we put the bombers in down at 3 points for the last Neo because we wanted to make sure there was good counters to specifically Marauders. So we're just like, let's make bombers 3 points. No one will be like, everyone will be able to crush bombers that way. And then no one used them to the last day, but it turns out that they were unstoppable in that tournament. So 3 was too low. That was a little bit too far. Then we put them at 4 here. So this is still the cheapest they've been since the last tournament when they were utterly dominant in. And I'm not surprised to see them come out. I'm kind of surprised that no one decided to bring them before now, though, because at 4 points, bombers are so much damage, and you can just do a lot with them. Bombers without Logi is something I wasn't expecting, though.
That was pretty man mode going bombers without Logi.
Well, the bombers plus the combination of a golem painter, because the golem has that huge painter bonus, with the bombers for both the torps and the bombs is amazing. Like that's why that Loki, which otherwise would be able to evade a lot of the damage from the bombs due to its small sig radius, it's just the size of a moon and the bombs destroyed it. And that's something that I think if people spent the last week trying to copy the shotgun setup, then they're going to need to like scramble to try to figure out how to deal with this.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So PL cooked up 2 different setups, and one of the latter one is a counter to the earlier one.
Yeah, and that being said, I would be very surprised if a lot of other teams, a lot of other kind of heavy theory crafting teams haven't come up with at least something similar. Maybe not something as kind of crazy as the no Logi bombers, because that is kind of out of the box. But I know that Back in Alien said that Rote was working on something similar last year, or in the last Neo. The only people to effectively use the intense bomber meta of that tournament were a Hydra and Camel, so obviously they know that bombers are good. So I think we're going to probably see more teams using this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but Nully's setup though, what it was compared to what PL brought last weekend, Nully's setup, was that specifically meant to counter that, or?
It actually might have had a bit of trouble against that. The setup that PL brought last weekend might have been able to kind of alpha through or just break through with its DPS on the Loki, the Repper. They probably would have been then hoping that they could knock down enough DPS to get into some kind of trades in the Golem's Alive. It actually would have had a kind of a hard time against. But then again, they banned out things like I think Ishtar was banned and stuff like that, right? So they banned out the shotgun, so they knew that we weren't going to face that. It's just a solid Tinker setup. It's a setup that we've seen teams use very effectively. It's pretty similar to the one that PL almost lost to Afterlife against. So I mean, there are plenty of teams that would have beaten, but this just isn't one of them.
I think it's always a little bit of hubris to bring a Tinker against PL, the team that popularized it.
Someone almost did it in the first round, though, and almost won with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like PL know the Tinker so well, and PL have now shown, in literally the last 2 matches they've played, 2 very different but exceptionally powerful golem-based setups. If this is not the start of the longest list of golem bans we've ever seen, it's because one of the teams really wants to use their own golem setup or copy one of the ones before. Like the golem is now the most powerful ship in the tournament, possibly.
I mean, not only were both the PL's last 2 setups using that, but the Nully team that beat Hydra relied on a golem as well. We've been seeing a huge amount of effective golem use, and then both teams here used it. Golems are extremely, extremely good in this tournament. Yeah, I completely agree that they're going to get banned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and then it becomes, you can have some mind games with golem bans. Say you don't want to face a golem, but you also don't want to use a ban on it because you want bans for more things. Can you convince the other team to ban the golem for you because they're just as scared of it as you are?
Yeah, that's very possible, and that's one of the nice things about if you have the last ban. So if because we have one team bans first, and then the other team bans 2 bans in a row, and then the team that banned first bans last. So if you have that last ban, then you can know that someone else has made the ban for you, and you can use it somewhere else.
But now the Tuskers Co. and the Camel Empire match number 2 in their series of a best of 3 are next. And we already have the bans for that match. It's the Eosh and the Ishtar for the Tuskers, and the Camel banned the same thing that I'm going to look at.
Okay, so I mean, Golem Open, interestingly enough, again, as we just talked about that. But these are very consistent bans.